Davey D hanging out with you. Just coming over here from Youth Uprising, got a chance to see Attorney General Eric Holder. A number of community people here in the building, among them Paul Flores. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Good to see you, Davey.
Attorney General came here. It's a who's who in the building. Were you satisfied with the conversation that took place, I guess the surface type solutions that were offered in terms of how to resolve things? We asked questions about police brutality. We asked questions about gang injunctions. We asked questions about, suppression tactics versus prevention tactics, and you're on the prevention side of things.
I thought that the Attorney General took a very safe out on all the questions that were asked, particularly around the issues of racial profiling. I thought there were interesting comments he made when first the gang injunction was brought up, and he failed to talk about the racial profiling involved in gang injunctions. Second, when he did talk about racial profiling, he brought up the immigration issue. In both senses, the immigration issue, particularly related to SB 1070, you're talking about police people being responsible for racial profiling, just like in gang injunctions. And he failed to make the connection. I felt like, if you're worried about racial profiling in the immigration debate, why aren't you worried about racial profiling in the gang injunction issue? Because we're talking about North Oakland. You're talking about black kids being profiled there. Who are the ones that are going to be asked, where's your ID, where are you on the injunction list, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Do
you see much of a difference between the way that we understand SB 1070 to be versus the gang injunctions, the way that they have been enforced?
I think they are the exact type of tactic. They're the same thing, isolating a certain community, making them feel like they are criminals, and then going after them. You know what I mean? Prohibiting their freedoms, making them live in fear, right? Disconnecting them from their families. It's the same thing the injunction does, as the same thing as SB 1070 and all anti-immigrant laws. What I did see that was interesting listening to him talk was the kind of conflict that's going on between the federal government and the state governments. I think that's a huge deal that could become even bigger. I feel like a lot of people are taking, a lot of the state type of legislative bodies are now just taking their own route to solving these federal issues. Why didn't he stand up and say, the immigration is a federal issue? Why?
It sounded like it was a lot of politics. He was trying to thread the needle.
Exactly, but there should be a clear stance that on immigration issues, those are federal issues. Why are they allowing states to, and putting it on police people? Holder's the big cop. Holder is the top cop of the nation. Why? How does he feel about becoming an immigration agent now? Is he ICE now?
Well, one of the things that I thought was interesting, and nobody got a chance to ask. I tried to sneak in two questions there, and he only answered one, but was nobody really brought up not so much the SB 1070, but as you know, the ICE raids that take place right here in Oakland. Which in many ways is a gang injunction, if you think about it, because as you said, communities isolated and people are living in fear and apprehension of anybody with a badge. With that, because you are working with Latino youth in these school districts and what have you, what are they saying about this? And is what was being spoken about, how would that resonate with some of the youth that you're dealing with?
I think that when most youth think about the whole ICE raids, they first feel like totally threatened, because it's a threat to their family unit, okay? Because ICE raids don't come after just individuals; they go after whole families. They go into apartment buildings, they go into businesses, and they take families apart. So the first thing youth feel is threatened for their safety and their survival, because who's going to pay the rent if you're 15 years old, but your grandma and your mom and your dad get deported? Who's going to pay your rent? Where are you going to end up at? So the first thing they would come from a very human perspective of, how am I going to survive if these ICE raids take my family? I don't think Holder's even talking about that. What is the human effect of these anti-immigrant, of the ICE oppression, of immigration coming into your houses and splitting families apart? Are they even considering what is the effect of those kids who are American citizens? What are they going to do for them? You know what I mean?
And people forget, if they're born here, they're American citizens.
Exactly. If you are born here, you are an American citizen. You deserve all those rights, whatever citizenship your parents are. Now, I know that there is movements now to take that. They want to take that away. There are certain people on the right in Southern California, Brian Bilbray and other congressmen, Duncan, who want to start deporting children of immigrants who are born here, and that's crazy. We're getting into a whole type of absolutely divisive, racist society, and here's Holder trying to play balanced, medium. But that's not the reality we live in. We don't live, especially in Oakland.
Right.
We don't live in a balanced reality. We live in a place where people are targeted, hunted, isolated, deported, arrested for how they look and the type of life they live.
There you go, Paul Flores. We appreciate it. He is out here today, here at Youth Uprising. And what would you give Eric Holder for his presentation today? From since you do grade A to F,
I give him a C.
C. There you go. Thanks, Paul.